Hi, this is Jackie.
This is Diana.
And you're listening to Home Bodies Only, where we welcome all bodies to join us as we dissect and break down HBO series. And this episode, we are talking about episode 5 of And Just Like That, Tragically Hip. I like that name.
And I love the Tragically Hip. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Okay, so this is fun because, grew up
Enlighten me.
I grew up in the Buffalo area. So the Tragically Hip is a band from Canada that, yes. And they're very popular. My sister has seen them a million times, I feel like, in concert. And I believe one of their lead musicians or singers passed away not that long, like within a few years ago. Because I remember her talking about it, and she's a big Tragically Hip fan. I don't know why I'm thinking about this now and not when I looked at the episode title. Yes, but look them up.
What type of music was it? I will look it up.
It's like, I guess I'd call it like in the rock category, like the classic rock, like Goo Goo Dolls-ish.
Okay.
Not as like, I'm trying to think of a song that you might have heard.
Not as poppy, not as pop.
Oh, my sister would kill me right now if you can't name a Tragically Hip song? Anyway.
I feel like the writers of this show were not trying to play off that
You don't
band,
think so?
But
okay.
No. I think they were like Tragically Hip, like
I don't know.
Hip as in
we
cool,
should write to them.
Like Miranda was talking about, and then Tragically because it's a play on those words, but maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could Google it.
Highway
I could Google
Girl,
it. Although
New Orleans is sinking. I'm trying to think of a song that 50 Mission, yeah. Kings. Anyway, yeah, they were big in like the 80s and 90s. Anyway.
The 80s
Canadian.
And 90s. Okay. Maybe there's somebody that also was like, hey, that's funny too, if that's thrown in there. All right. Well, we start off, Carrie is showing Seema her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I took pictures of the outfits, but I don't think I found anything out about them. So
no, but I really like Seema's outfit in the scene. It was almost like this silky. She loves
silk.
The very flowy.
Well, at least like the Fendi, yes, the Fendi outfit was like looked all silk. Yeah, this one too, and then like the trench coat over
and
it.
I like the kind of the color scheme of how she's just like the browns and I like it too. And then Carrie is just layered up. Yeah,
I didn't look anything up for this. I did find the bag. I didn't know why. Maybe I didn't write that down. No, I don't think I wrote down the bag, but she has on, it looks like a dress, but then she also has pants on underneath. Oh, I really loved her tassel necklace. She had a gold tassel necklace. That I tried to look up. Couldn't find anything on it. Nope.
It was almost like a slip dress.
I don't know.
Like a nightgown-ish.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And then a little short, I don't know if it's a jacket exactly, but it was sheer over the top of her. And then it's like, what kind I would call it, like a blouse. It's like see-through. And then the bag was circle shaped. That was a name, and that's a brand, and I dropped the ball on that one. Well, so basically she's going to go up the steps, and she is limping up the steps. She uses an umbrella to go up.
Yes. And
Seema's like, what is going on? And she says, it's called old lady back, according to the internet. So Seema asked, what does your orthopedist say? And like, of course, she doesn't have an orthopedist. So Seema calls her cousin, who's an orthopedist. And Carrie's like, I bought, these patches. Oh, no, that's later on. So Seema calls her cousin, gets her in there for that afternoon, insists on it. But Carrie does say she bought these patches off of TV.
Oh, yeah, we've seen these.
And one of them falls out. It just reminded me of, I think I've told you this story. I'll tell it really quickly.
Yeah.
I had heard that like when you wear a sleeveless shirt and a blazer, because back, like when I worked in the late 90s, early 2000s, we would wear blazers to work. So in the summer, if you're wearing like a sleeveless shirt in a blazer, you should put tiny Light Days maxi pads. Did I ever tell you the story? Didn't I tell you
Put
the
them
story?
where?
Oh. Put Light Days maxi pads in the armpit of the blazer, so when you're sweat,
and
it
they
goes on to the
so
maxi pad as opposed to like staining,
Wow.
or getting gross if you're sweating, whatever.
Oh God. Did they fall out though?
I was doing that. One fell out. Oh, this is a great story because this is what it reminded me of when her patch fell out. It looked like it fell out of her pants, basically. Yeah, it's great.
I can already see where this is going.
I wasn't going to tell this story, but it just came to me. So we were at, this is pretty sad. We were at this is sad. My friend's stepbrother, and he was young. I think he had cancer and he died. We were at his funeral in the church. And we had been standing, there were pews, and I was standing, and all of a sudden the stupid pad came out of my sleeve.
Oh, dear.
Because obviously it didn't stick very well, and fell onto the pew in front of me. And I'm with my girlfriends, and thankfully they knew I was doing that. They knew about it, and they're like, you're a moron or whatever. And it fell out, and they're like, oh, and they did. They started laughing. I mean, it was kind of like one of those things where you're at a serious, sad thing, and then there's some comedy relief. And I was like, I went down and grabbed it. Because we were about to sit down, the up, down. Yeah. So my pad fell out of my armpit, fell out of my arm sleeve. But it wasn't, that's used for that. It was used for my armpit. So that's what that reminded me of. Okay.
Great technique, but not so much if it sweats so much that it
apparently efficient.
Doesn't.
No, it wasn't wet that it slipped out because
the sticky part's going to wear off on the fabric eventually.
I know, but I felt like I wasn't wearing it that long when that happened.
All right. I was totally going to pilot that. And now
do
I'm
it
not.
again. Don't.
So I'm just going to put, is it Botox
maybe my
that you
pads
put
were cheap
in your armpit or something?
I wasn't.
To make it not sweat?
Yeah, but I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I just, yes, it's Botox, I believe. Okay. Yeah. There's surgery. There's special prescription deodorant. I don't know. Okay. So she goes, I didn't write a lot of notes on this. She goes to the doctor, and it turns out she has, instead of it being like arthritis or an old lady, quote unquote, disease or whatever, she has a congenital birth defect and can be corrected with surgery. He just made that sound so easy. He was like,
what's interesting is my first son had hip dysplasia. Right. So he had to go see a specialist when he was an infant. He had this clicking thing with his hip that they found. Aww. Yeah. So
how old was he when they found out? Young? Yeah.
Before he was not even crawling, 6 months, maybe something like that. 4 months. Okay. I forget what it was, but he had to wear this harness. Oh my gosh. It was the cutest and saddest thing. He only had to wear it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, but in the summer, right? Aww. So we were I don't know, in Cape Cod, I think that summer it was hot, and he had to wear this harness thing that kept him like a frog position. It is the sweetest but saddest thing. But it was a short term.
But he didn't need surgery.
He did not need surgery because they caught it, and it was a very mild hip dysplasia. It was, I think, because he was breech.
Oh.
So they think it was caused by him.
Right, but you
did have a C-section.
Okay.
But they said that maybe when he was in the breech position, it just one of those things. So, but luckily it was mild.
And I was delivered breech.
Yes.
I came out
my mom.
Probably one of the last ones.
I think my mom gave birth to my sister, and she was breeched.
Breech.
They don't do it anymore. Yeah.
Oh, then she was probably one of the last ones because she's a little younger.
Oh, that's true. She's a little bit younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Fun stories here tonight.
Yeah.
Random.
Again, hopefully we didn't lose 5 downloads. Okay. We're at lunch. Anthony is there, which I thought was interesting. Carrie's very excited because she is not an old lady because it was a birth defect. I took screenshots. I don't think I found anything out about the clothes. I liked Miranda's dress. There was a belt. It was either it was like a white.
Yeah.
Possibly gray or green. Or it was either a grayish or a greenish gray. Or sage green. Yeah, I don't know. But she did have a green necklace on, chain necklace on. And then Carrie, I don't think I could really get her whole outfit. But she had a funky hairpiece in, I don't know, blouse. again, everything was the top. And then like Charlotte was wearing like, I call that a Barbie pink. It was like a hot pink dress. I call it hot pink or Barbie pink. I don't know. So Anthony makes a joke about archaeologists digging up fossils for Carrie, like she acting like they're gonna, just it's so easy. And Carrie, to be honest with you, to me, laughed like way too hard for the joke. It was a very odd exchange where I felt like it was almost overacted. Again, I'm the acting critique here, but she was like, like puts her head down. I was like, and then Charlotte's like, you should, scolds him. He's like, but she's smiling. She's laughing. Actually, Anthony to me was a little more, I don't know, genuine. It was weird when Carrie laughed.
It's funny that Charlotte didn't have an issue with Anthony being the foretop.
Right.
Well, because that's her like BFF, but still.
I know. Yep. And Anthony, so she scolds him and he's like, come on, she's laughing. And he's like, I have to bring it because it's his first solo lunch with them. And that how Carrie says she's not an old lady. Charlotte said it's still hip surgery though. Like that's old ladyish. So Miranda says hip as an adjective is young, as a noun is old, which I thought was funny. And then I think Anthony's like using hip as an adjective is also like old. People don't say that. That's hip.
Hip to be square.
I don't know.
Huey Lewis.
Hip.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Tragically
hip.
Miranda calls for champagne.
Of course it does.
Charlotte's like, it's not even 12:30.
How about mimosas? Come on, Charlotte. I know she thinks that Miranda has a problem.
Has a problem. So Charlotte created a schedule for the caretaking, of course. And we are told this from Charlotte, I think, that Carrie will be on crutches for 2 to 3 weeks, then 6 to 8 weeks of PT, and then full recovery in a few months, but no heels.
That's a biggie.
Yeah. Biggie. So now we see Charlotte in her kitchen, of course, wearing an apron, cute little apron. She's on a Zoom call with the moms, chatting about, I don't know, some parent committee stuff. And I don't even remember what they said. I think they're talking about the field trip, getting in the whatchamacallit, permission slips. It's so interesting. I know the kids probably do not go to a public school, but I feel like on TV and movies, they portray like the PTA or the parent committee as the end all be all, makes all these huge decisions. I got some news for you. No, they don't. They have activities. They don't decide field trips. Well, they don't get the permission slips. They might fund some
it's a
stuff,
private
but
school.
Like
things are a little different.
Yeah. So I guess the parents have a little.
I love
more,
that her iPad had on like the little light to make her look feel like a professional,
like a ring light. I was thinking that I would like one. If I get a ring light, then I would like to show us like filming the podcast, like show the video, because I never do the video. It's always audio only, and sometimes we get some pictures. But if I had a ring light, you could watch us. Okay, we're both drinking. I'm drinking Prosecco.
I got my Cabernet here.
Nice.
It's delicious.
Okay.
In my Golden Girls.
We're actually recording on a weekend.
My
night.
Golden Girls wine glass.
Oh, and she has a golden. Oh,
yeah, I got
Betty
the whole
White.
crew here. Betty White. I got Rue McClanagan here. Oh, love this one too.
Nice. Oh, that's very cute.
The whole crew.
It's Dorothy,
and Sophie,
and her mom.
Anyway,
nice.
Back to this.
Okay. So they're winding up whatever the word is. They're closing out the meeting, and Charlotte asks if there's anything else, and Veronica compliments Rock in the school play. They're all like, yeah, the Rock.
Snaps.
And Charlotte has no idea who Rock is. Yeah, snaps. This part I thought was really funny because she's like, oh no, did they all freeze?
Yeah, this was great.
And they all were just making these terrible faces, and they were frozen. That was great. I thought that was really funny. Things still freeze. No, they're just uncomfortable. LTW says, I'll call you. They get off. And so LTW tells Charlotte that Rose told everyone at school to call her Rock. And Charlotte had no idea. And she asked some other question. LTW says, I don't know the context. So she gets off the phone, and Charlotte goes into the living room, and she confronts Rose. And says that everyone at school knows. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me or whatever? And she's like, she did it on a TikTok. That's how she was, she's like, I did a TikTok. She's like, you do like 15 TikToks a day. And I try to watch them all, but of course she missed that one. So then we see Charlotte, Rock wrapped it, Just pretty good.
I liked it.
Rap. And then like Lily gets in
she
on
loved
it.
it.
Oh, Lily, by the way, in real life is 27.
Are you serious?
Yep. I looked her up. Yeah, she looks young.
Yes.
Like young. She does not look 27. And then Rock/Rose is 12. She's actually 12 in real life. Yeah. That was interesting. What else? So Rock says that the teachers are cool with it. And that's, I don't know, that's all I have on that really. But obviously she and Henry, oh my God, I called him Henry again. See, now I'm stuck on it. I called Harry Henry last episode. I don't know what's going on. I'm just old. I don't know. I think I'm getting old. So it's pandemic burnout. I don't know. Harry, you could just tell they're just like, what's going on, right? I don't know. Do you have anything else to add? No, not really, because they
more to add like when they go to the school for their meeting.
Yes. So we have Miranda opening Amazon packages. And Louisa, of course, walks in.
Because she's there more than the son.
Immediate cringe for me. Yeah. Louisa says, wow, a lot of packages from Amazon. And that's when Miranda says, yes, too many. They're not all for me. And she says, Astroglide, cherry flavor, and tube socks.
Ugh, gross.
And Louisa's like, sorry, meant to intercept that. Like, you see her with all the Amazon packages. It still doesn't dawn on you. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh, it's a lot of Amazon packages.
Yeah.
I can't. Mm-hmm. And then Louisa does say, I love how cool you are. If my mom ever found my lube, she'd choke me with her rosary beads. And I put in parentheses, I understand that. I'd want to choke her too. Sorry. Not just about the lube. Sorry. Just my opinion. My feelings towards her. Okay. Then Miranda opens a box and it's a book called How to Quit Like a Woman. Now, I will tell you that first seeing this, I did not know it was about alcohol.
Yes, I did.
Because I missed there was like a little burst
on the side.
It looked like a speech. It looked like a speech bubble.
Right.
In school, we called it a speech bubble when you're writing that talked about quitting alcohol. But I just saw How to Quit Like a Woman. I was like, I was trying to understand. I was like, I don't understand. And then, when I went back, I didn't know that. So then Louisa's like, oh, what book did you order? And she's like, oh, this was a mistake. And she's like freaking out about it. And I didn't know at the time. I was thinking, oh, maybe she just doesn't want Louisa to see it, that she ordered that. Like, that was it. I didn't, that was my take off of that.
It was kind of like, wow, your reaction, like you're like overreacting to this, like a little bit much.
Yeah, I thought she was overreacting too.
To be.
And Louisa can't see through the book. Like she was almost so paranoid about her seeing the title. I'm like,
she could have just said it was for school or something. I don't know.
I know.
It just was a weird part.
Yeah, it was a weird reaction. So Louisa says, oh, should I turn off my heater, by the way, again?
Oh, I just started to hear
Can you hear my heater in the background? Okay.
Sure. You'll be freezing, but that's okay.
Although I'll be on.
It'll be an icicle.
I'm a true podcaster. Like I'll do it in the freezing cold. Are you
going to eat green eggs and ham too? Because that's what you just reminded me.
Yes, Sam, I am a podcaster. What? Anyway,
so Louisa's good at like talking about like how cool Miranda is with like her lube or something.
Well, we're up to the point where like, so when Miranda says, I didn't order this, like this was a mistake or she doesn't know why she has it. Luis is like, oh, I won't order things online. Meanwhile, and then I was like, oh, I guess Brady did then. Like I thought she ordered, I guess Brady did. So she won't order things online because, Brady apparently does it for her. And she also mooches off of Miranda and Steve all the time. So Miranda says, oh yeah, I'm going to check my account. So now we're at the hospital and Carrie is checking in. She is wearing Birkenstocks with socks.
It's beautiful.
Stocks and socks, I think she calls it. Stocks and socks, yes. I didn't know they were Birkenstocks when I first saw them because I have Birkenstocks, but they usually have the 3
two
strips. What do they call that?
Yours have 3?
Is it 2 or 3?
No, it's 2 with the buckles. Yeah, it's 2. Too thick.
It's hard because it's not summer right now.
It's 2 thick ones, but
I think it's too thick.
That style though. I've definitely seen them.
The one. Yeah, but they're not like the signature,
they're not, which I
Birkenstock. So I was like, "What is that?" So I had to look it up. It's Birkenstock. She gets a buzzer like she's at like Applebee's.
It was
before she even said Applebee's. I wrote down like a chain restaurant or Panera.
Yes,
Panera
does the
Panera's
buzzers?
Chain restaurant too. Panera is the buzzer. Yeah, I took a picture of the outfits. Carrie again. I wasn't in love with her, outfit. I don't know. I'm not looking at the sandals and the socks. And it was just like a light pink skirt. And
she had her hair up in like a bun thing.
Like a blouse and she had the fringe on the blouse. And I think that Miranda is wearing, it's actually like a denim or a denim-like.
It was either denim or chambray dress. Or something.
Chambray, that's it. I was trying to think of that material. And then like a lime green or... She's got a belt. The belt matches the material, though. Yep, she's got a belt. All about the belts. Okay. My stocks. Why? Oh, I think, are they talking about the buzzer? I have unsettling. You were at a hospital. I mean, my stocks and socks. I don't know. I think that Miranda says something is unsettling. She's like, do you mean my stocks and socks? She's like, I look like a Vermont art teacher.
She did.
I thought that was funny. And then she says, can I trade it in for a free margarita?
This was like one of my favorite parts, because with the buzzer and everything else. Yes.
Yeah. And then that's when Miranda brings up, well, Charlotte sent me this book about how to quit drinking like a woman. And she's like, she Amazoned me.
Have you ever been Amazoned?
As with presents. Yeah. Like my son's been Amazoned by my sister. Actually, yes. And my sister, I think it's mostly only by my one sister. Yeah. I've been Amazoned. Nothing like that though. Like hint, hint. No. Miranda wants to get a coffee, asks if Carrie wants anything. She's like, I can't, but she's like, post-surgery, I want Diet Peach Snapple. And I was like, oh my God, I used to love those. Snapple. They had the worst. But did you ever have the Diet Peach? Was very specific. Oh, I mean, and I said all my friends drank it, but that was the flavor. Diet, it's disgusting. It has the aspartame or whatever in it.
No, you got to get
for you. But you're thinking you're
the lemon
healthy.
Snapple or like the flavors, like the raspberry, whatever
good.
They're.
Even
the lemonades.
Just normal peach Snapple.
I haven't seen Snapple in years.
Too, I think, but
remember, they would always have the fun fact.
Snap into it.
Yes, I can remember the commercials and the fun fact on the label.
Fun fact or something on the no, it was on the cap.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The cap. I'm going like cap on my on my.
She's
rubbing my hand.
She's rubbing her hand. Yeah.
I can still picture the Snapple lady too. No, I'm not joking. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Didn't she scream
or
yell?
Much.
Kind of. Didn't she say snap into it? Or is that snap into a Slim Jim?
I don't know.
So she asked for that Snapple and a payday candy bar. And then, so Miranda's like, all right. So she leaves. And then Carrie pulls out this nice blanket. Yeah. Looks like it was handmade. Cozy blanket for her. Yeah. So now must be post-surgery. They're in the hospital room.
Yeah.
And Charlotte's sitting there. Carrie is wearing, I did look it up. She is wearing a charcoal gray with hot pink trim. And it's a Chanel cardigan and pearls. And I think there's gold buttons on it, maybe. Regardless of it being Chanel, I don't think I'd wear that. No matter what.
It worked for her, though.
I thought it looked old lady.
I think that was the idea. Because she had hip surgery.
I know, but yeah. Was she trying to play the part with her?
A little more geriatric than necessary.
I wasn't into that. All right. So Charlotte is, she's going over the plans. Did we not see her mouth moving? I felt like they were showing Carrie and we heard Charlotte's voice. And I wonder if there was a little bit of voiceover in there or something. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Okay. So Charlotte says she's taking her home the next day, and then Miranda has her on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's what she says. Okay. So then Charlotte brings up to Miranda. So Carrie's sleeping, and she asks Miranda, she's like, didn't you call yourself a tomboy when you were younger or something? And she's like, sure. Louisa would say you're not supposed to use that word ever. But she asks, did you ever wish you weren't a girl? And she said, yeah, when I'm having a mammogram, whatever. Why? And then she starts to talk about, she says she's going through something with Rose. And then Carrie wakes up and she's like, I have to pee. No, I don't. I do have to pee. So there's the pee, not pee feeling. Charlotte helps her up, like swings her over her shoulder, and she's like, damn, and she's like, yes, it's from Parenting magazine. It's called Parenting, right? They said that you should be as strong as like
heaviest child or something.
Largest child, to be able to lift your heaviest child. And she's like, I've been doing burpees. I kept seeing that as a meme everywhere. So she brings her into the bathroom and she's helping her. But by the way, that bathroom, did that look like a bathroom in a hospal room? No.
It was quite
what was going on there.
Deluxe, if I must say.
Yeah, it was huge, huge. So Che is calling Carrie's phone. So Miranda's like kind of calling to them, and then she answers it. And I want to say Carrie references Friends because Charlotte sits her down. She's like, something like, did you see that Friends episode? The one where they lower her to the toilet? So I thought that's funny. I don't think they ever referenced Friends.
I don't think they
was on
did
back in the day.
I don't remember that. I feel like I would.
No. So Miranda says that Che is there or is coming and she's bringing dinner. And Carrie's like, no. Tell them no. I messed up again. Tell them no. And then she tells Charlotte she needs to stay with her while she's like sitting on the toilet. So she can help her back up. And then she doesn't know that she's peeing.
And Charlotte has to tell her.
She's like, oh, no, I am peeing.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
I am. Yeah. She's very happy about that.
Yeah. It was funny. And Miranda does call Che she, by the way, and Carrie
corrects her and says they.
Does correct her. So Carrie, is coherent enough to correct her.
But not that she peed.
But doesn't know that she's peeing. Yeah.
Listen.
Okay.
I remember after my first C-section, it was a little wonky down there. To be able to do any. I mean, even just, I'm sure, like you giving birth, like it's weird down there. Going to the bathroom and the whole thing and it's weird.
Yeah, I got yelled at. I basically was told she was being very nice at first, the nurse, and was like, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" I was like, "No, I don't," because I remember thinking when you're pregnant, you have to go to the bathroom literally every 5 minutes, and I was like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Okay," and then like gave me a little bit, and she's like, "Do you have to go to the bathroom?" I was like, "Nope," and she's like, and she was the sweetest. Younger nurse, and she goes, if you don't go to the bathroom right now, I'm gonna put a catheter in you.
I had a catheter, and she was like, because of the surgery. So I think after it was removed, and then it was like a whole thing about going to I couldn't even stand up to go to the bathroom. It was a whole thing. Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
Awful.
Oh my god!
The second one, I was like, this is okay. My second C-section, I was like, hey, let's go. I'm ready. It was so bizarre. Yeah. I think my body was just used to what the pain was like.
Well, also you were kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah, and it was rough.
A little bit more.
No, it was it was weird because I had that catheter, and then they bring it out, and then you're trying to like get the sense. It's weird. I don't. So long ago, but it's still so fresh. Almost 10 years. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah. So
from your first one,
right?
Oh my! What 10 years? Okay. Now. We're in the hospital cafeteria. Oh, I looked up this hospital. There is no such thing. I didn't think there was of this St. Clair's, and especially the way they spell it in.
I was going to say it's like, what do they have? Like Montefiore and
St. Vincent's. My sister worked at St. Vincent's Hospital.
Like some of the big ones.
NYU has. There's also a division.
I wonder which hospital, or if it was just like
Cornell too.
makeshift studio.
Yeah,
type.
I was Googling it. I feel like now that we're almost on par with the release of the episodes, there's not as much information. So I can't give you guys as much information.
Behind the scenes.
I don't know what's going on. Okay. So Che is telling the story of how when she gets diagnosed with diverticulitis, which my dad has. Actually.
So does my dad. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
fine.
I almost poisoned him one time when he was visiting.
Is this in our future? Is this in our future now? Because we both have to.
I forget which seed I put in a recipe, and he had like a flare. Oh my gosh.
And it flared up because they say it's not, you don't have to worry really about the seeds and everything, but my dad still tries to avoid everything.
My dad has to be very careful about what he can still have, like certain peanuts and stuff too. Not peanuts, but certain nuts and stuff.
No, there's nuts. They're nuts. Right? Well, that's what they used to say.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if I put pine nuts in something. Or, I don't forget what it was, but my dad had a big flare. It was a whole thing. Oh my God, I felt horrible.
Oh boy. Great daughter.
I know. I've learned now. I'm very specific with what the ingredients are if I'm going to make something. I'm like, remind me what you can't have, Dad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm going to throw in some pine nuts.
I don't know if that or cashews. I can't remember what caused it. I'm like, and I'll like pop popcorn and I'll be like, he'll come over and have some. And I'm like, Dad, you can't have. He's like, I can have a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so confused.
I feel like popcorn would be worse.
The kernels, right?
That gets stuck in my body, my teeth, my gums. I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So her dad had been sleeping, I think, when the doctor walked in, and the dad heard diverticulitis, I guess, and was like, we know that she's a dyke or whatever. I thought,
right.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So Miranda asks how Che is doing with that. And Che says, it's not just about watching what they eat. It's what they say, do. I thought that was interesting. And Miranda says, well, what do you mean? And Che references Cheryl. Cheryl kept things inside, twisted up. Now, I let it all out and I feel it. I be it. I do it. And I thought that was, true with a lot of people who do have health conditions, and not saying it cures them, but that you have to change yourself in other ways, not just what you eat. And I'm not saying I don't have any kind of anxiety or anything like that, but I think
it was interesting if you noticed like the chemistry here too. Like I was watching Miranda almost become infatuated by her. I did it again. I'm so sorry.
With them.
With Che.
Yeah, with Che. So then Miranda says, she could relate because she felt trapped at her law firm and she felt like life was too short. I did feel like Miranda wanted to say something else. Like she's like, I felt trapped at my law firm. I felt
something else was going to.
There was something else.
What else were you trapped with?
Feeling trapped. Yeah. And then Miranda takes a bite of the very spicy chip and is like, whoa. And I think Che says like, something like, I didn't write it down. Not that Che says I do everything spicy, but nothing can be like
something about like, didn't you expect,
like
did you expect me not to have something spicy or something like that?
Right. Something like that. Yeah. And then I did want Chipotle at the time. And we did get that last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we want Chipotle. Okay. We are, the Hot Fellas van pulls up. Of course.
This is great.
Carrie and Charlotte are in the back eating like loaves of bread. Like baguettes, I'd say. In the back. And Anthony, so I said, wrote important. Because Carrie was like, he didn't have to do all this. I could have just got an ambulette. Yeah. And Charlotte's like, no, it's important. He's included. And then they're arranging like how Carrie's going to get up the steps, which that was stressing me out. I was like, look at the steps. There's no alternative route into this building, and the steps look steep and everything. So Nick, his name is, because I saw it on his outfit. Nick picks her up and carries her up the steps, and she's just like as high as a kite. Yeah, basically, she's very high on her meds. That's really all I wrote. She has cute slippers on with. I think they're actually shoes, by the way. I saw a glimpse of something, and they're like the fuzzy slippers from the 1950s-esque look, right? So now Carrie's doing the podcast through Zoom or something like that, right? I just wanted to say something, okay? Because now that we're podcasting, she's wearing earbuds.
Right. We have studio headphones.
That is terrible. The sound would have been horrible. Again, I don't know a lot, but I do know it'll mess up the sound. And I don't think she had a mic or anything.
Yeah.
Like
it was almost,
it was very
because
unrealistic.
at the studio, she wears the headphones too, and they have the mic or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Typically. So I saw that too. I was like, that's not realistic.
Come on with the
that
earbuds.
would be realistic if you were on a Zoom call, not a podcast.
Yeah. No.
Wait, did she have a mic?
The same. Just saying.
No, it was as if she.
No,
that's
because.
Right. Yep.
Right.
See?
She's wearing a crazy flowered hat. I don't know if it's just because she's high as a kite or just for fashion purposes because she's in sweats. She needed to throw on some kind of accessory.
Think about what we did in the pandemic when we'd be on calls. I would be wearing sweatpants below or jammy pants.
But tons of jewelry.
Everything up top was like, I would wear a lot of jewelry, fancy top.
Yeah.
But earrings. I was in like joggers below, just saying.
Yes. Or underwear. I'm just kidding.
Joggers or pajama pants. My favorite would be like pajama pants with like a button up top or something, or a blouse that doesn't go at all. It. With like snowman jammy pants. Just saying.
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
That's one part I missed.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
And
That's
I used to get like super
basically
like dressy. Like jewelry wise, like accessory wise. I was like slammed out. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
it was fun.
Normally. I don't know.
It was fun.
I mean, I wear jewelry, but not to that extent. I was like layering on the stuff.
Layering. You were zhuzhing it up. Zhuzhagabor. Yeah. Well, you had a little more time too, and then you're staring at yourself all day, which really puts a damper on your ego, at least mine. Anyway, Jackie says something about boundaries and girlfriends, and Carrie was like, you can't say that in the same sentence. Girlfriends are always there for her. Samantha Jones got her diaphragm out that was stuck. Now Jackie and Che are dying. They are loving this. They are laughing. You know, I don't know if they're sweating because they're just so excited that Carrie is just like, yeah, like it took a while. She was up there for a minute, just going on and on. And at the end, Che thanks Carrie's doctor for prescribing whatever she's on. It's great. So then she hangs up. She's like, end meeting. She said, I thought that was funny. End meeting. And she's like, I'm getting that. You know, Charlotte's like, oh God, like makes this face because she says Samantha's name. And Carrie gets on the crutches and is going, oh shoot. She's like, do you want to walk around a little or do you want to go to lay down? And Carrie says she wants to lay down. And she says, I think I'm getting the hang of this podcasting thing. You know, extremely comfortable. Then I don't know. I don't know. Carrie might say, did you hear or something? And, you know, Charlotte's like, you mentioned Samantha by name. And Carrie says, well, there's a lot of Samanthas. And she's like, you mentioned her last name. And she's like, my vagina, my story. So she's like, this probably isn't even on her radar. And Charlotte's like, I read the Daily Mail, which is a British, but like,
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think, maybe she says, do you think she'd be upset? Oh, maybe Carrie asked her, Charlotte thinks Samantha will be upset. And Charlotte thinks she should let her know. So she's not surprised. Yeah. So then here's Charlotte and Harry at Rose's school. I think the teacher is Robin, and then there's like a caseworker maybe, or not a caseworker, maybe a social worker.
Could have been, or some sort of like clinical
that one
staff
woman. I don't know.
School counselor or whatever they have at those.
They don't say. They don't say names. They don't say anything. So I don't have a ton of notes on this because I don't know. It was a lot. And they basically are saying they weren't told about this. And, you know, the teacher is saying, well, she basically calls them resistant.
Right.
Kids don't, and they're like, we're not resistant. They just weren't told. And I think like Charlotte's asking, could this be, I don't know. I think Charlotte's just trying to get like, is this a phase or is this for sure? And the clinical staff or whatever she is says Rock is very sure. And then they call Rock they, and Harry, it's definitely just it's hard.
I think they're just trying to wrap their heads around the change or that they weren't aware of, that, you think somebody, your own child. Yeah. And why they were not comfortable. I mean, but then again, they came to Charlotte and made some remarks earlier.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So, and just moved on and was like, well, they're comfortable. I don't know if this would really unfold the same way in real life. The
way it went from step 1 to step 10. Like, I think Rock would have been a little bit more like, because, let's think about a teenager's brain or like an adolescent brain, right? Like would have been a little bit more like, I don't want to say like forward, but you know what I'm saying? Like a more aggressive with the message to the family. Like, don't you get it? Yeah. I am, you know what I mean? But whatever. But so Rock told Charlotte, said that I don't feel like a girl. And Charlotte, was surprised and fell off the bed, but wasn't like completely resistant about it. And then started thinking about it and said something to Anthony. And then at the Netflix taping was thinking about it, called Rock to say she loved them. And it just seemed like it went boom, a little crazy. So I thought it was.
But they did a nice, I mean, they seemed genuinely wanting to be supportive and on the same page. So, right? Yeah. In a sense, but also at the same time wanting to be like, well, why are we the last to know, sort of a thing.
Well, it's also a little bit of, it is shocking, especially when they weren't aware of it till
they're on a Zoom
there's
call.
Certain things
she's on a Zoom PTA call or whatever.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
And also too, I mean, sometimes parents, if their child maybe in the back of their mind, they kind of feel it, they know it, where when Rock first said that to her about not feeling like a girl, she was definitely taken by surprise. Even though Rock showed didn't want to wear the dress really at the flowery dress at the thing. But to be honest, at that point, again, it was the first episode. I was thinking that Rock was just a rebel and just
completely
into the girly stuff. I didn't think anything
of their sister.
Yeah. So then Harry does say when they're in the hallway, which I thought was good. He said it was very humbling as a father, which it is. And it is. Yeah. And I liked that part. Charlotte said, "You're a wonderful father." And then they held hands walking out. That was cute. Okay. Here comes the big scene of the whole entire show.
Good grief.
Okay.
Here we go.
Episode, I mean. We're at Carrie's apartment. Carrie is sleeping. And I like Miranda had her gigantic textbook and she was highlighting it, which I used to do too. I used to do that in grad school and undergrad. The door buzzes. It's Che. And so Miranda lets Che up and Miranda says, "This is a pleasant surprise." And Che says, "For me too." And there's this little glance up and down her. It's flirty toward Miranda. And I wrote, and Che brought Carrie a mic. And then I wrote, also needs headphones. Brought her a mic and tequila to keep her talking.
That mixes well with pain meds, right? Good.
Well, I guess if she's done with her pain
right,
meds,
I guess so.
Because at some point she's got to be done with her pain. So Miranda tells Che that Carrie was taking an opioid nap. Great. So to keep it down. And then Che says, well, it's probably not a great idea to ask her to do a shot. And Miranda says, well, but you could ask me. So they start doing shots in the kitchen and they're like, wah, wah. They're starting to get loud. Che lights a joint and offers it to Miranda. And then Miranda's like, don't you remember? I'm not a pot person. And then they start laughing. And then, and then Che says, I remember you kind of liked it. Yeah.
What do you call it? Shotgun?
The shotgun. Yeah. And then Che says that they have to go to a gig in Jersey and they're like getting flirty with the towel and the lime. Like,
did you
like pulling it back and forth?
I really thought that it was just going to be like flirty and then the shotgun was going to happen and they were just going to kiss. That's what I thought was going to happen. What about you? Did you think it was going to be more?
I did
think it was going to go this far. Oh, I know we're not there, but like, let's just dive into it, right? I didn't think it was going to go
let's dive
where
into
it went. I was like, what?
No, I did not. Like I definitely, I thought something was going to happen. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to go that far either. I was just like, oh, what? Okay, so, all right. So then, Miranda says, if you weren't in such a hurry, I'd ask, for you to shotgun me again. And then Che says, at your service, and goes in for the shotgun, but instead kisses Miranda's neck and turns her around. And Carrie starts to wake up and has to pee.
I know.
And she's calling to her. And
uncomfortable for me.
It was terrible.
And I felt
it was terrible.
Horrible for Carrie.
I felt horrible for Carrie. It was like, I was like, do I want to watch
I couldn't watch it again.
It was so uncomfortable. Well, yeah, I only watched it.
And I'll tell you why.
Well, I might have had to play
because of Carrie. In her distress.
Because of Carrie.
The other stuff was not uncomfortable.
It was Carrie.
By any means. That's fine. It is what it is.
No.
But that's fine. It wasn't what I expected. I thought they would like make out like a kiss or something, but I was so uncomfortable with what Carrie was going through. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to like fall over. Like what is going on? Somebody here.
I know. I thought she was going to injure herself. Like, not that she had an injury. I thought she was going to
fall out and like
really hurt herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, the chemistry between Che and Miranda is there. It was very sexy. Like, it's great that Miranda's married and doing this, but like Miranda hasn't had apparently
relations in years, right?
Relations or sparks.
Correct.
There's no spark.
They have a Sunday bar every night. That's it.
It's just, and it's too bad it had to happen at that moment when Carrie was waking up and had to pee.
And her friend is supposed to be there watching, like taking care of her.
I know. And she's like, look at like, and then you feel pathetic and like, then it all comes back. Like my husband's dead and I'm alone and I'm depending on all of it. So Che is saying, tell me not to stop. Tell me you like it, like all this dirty stuff or whatever. I guess if you want to call it that. So then Carrie is like calling Miranda, then I was trying to figure out where this mirror was. I was a little confused. The mirror, because I kept thinking the mirror was to the left of her, like toward the bathroom.
It's not.
It's not, because I was like, can she see them through no,
it's
because
on
then
the
we
other
see Miranda
wall.
in the bathroom. It's on the other wall and she can see the reflection of them
in the kitchen.
Going at it, whatever they're doing, rubbing on each other. Because they were rubbing on each other. I mean, a lot of rubbing. Okay. That was another thing. I'm like, did they finally at the end? I think they kissed. I was like, they didn't really kiss. It was like interesting. Okay. So then Carrie's going, she's looking down. She's trying to look away from the mirror. She's like, oh my God, looks down. Then she's like, she can't wait. So she starts to get up herself. And I didn't know. I was like, is she going to pee on the floor? I thought she was going to pee on the floor. But instead she grabs a Diet Peach Snapple.
The Snapple, right? She throws the straw with her mouth or something.
Yeah, she grabs the straw with her
gosh.
mouth, and I was like, what is going on? What's going on? She spits it out. She pees in the bottle. This was like obviously done on purpose. She was peeing in the bottle as Miranda is orgasming. It was just
again.
And Miranda is owing like a maniac. Like she was screaming. Like
and Shay was trying.
All I kept thinking about was it's been years. That's all I kept thinking was it's been years. She was covering her mouth either as like a sexy thing or just both. To keep it down because of
you're loud.
I think a little both too. Because Jay's very like dominating
in this scene for sure.
Miranda's totally into, but also like because she was like, I'm not going to imitate her, but she was
And as that's and then
a lot of pent up stuff was coming out.
Doesn't Carrie like try and then it spills on the bed? Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. So Miranda says, so like she's peeing while that's happening, and then Miranda says that is the best feeling I've ever had in my whole life. Oh my God. Carrie spills the pee. Oh yeah, she goes, oh my God. And then Carrie spills the pee on the bed and she says, oh my God. So honestly, this scene was done really well. Even though it was super uncomfortable, people get like upset to be uncomfortable. It was acted. It was done extremely well. Because if that scene could make you feel that way.
I hope it was one that they only had to do one time. Because that was really intense.
Also, too, like how'd they film it? Did they film
so intense?
They couldn't have filmed him at the same exact time. Think about
that's true.
They probably think they filmed Carrie separately.
It was just so intense. I don't know. There was so much feeling.
It was extremely
on both
intense.
Sides of the apartment.
It was
for different reasons. Oh
my God! It was honestly. I think it was.
But it was a good scene.
I might sound sick, but I thought it was excellent. It was so good. But I think I texted Diana. I was like, oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
I was like, I'm sitting on the couch with my earbuds in. My son's like watching TV. I was like, yeah. Anyway. Okay. So where are we here? So then Che finally finally kisses Miranda. DM me if you want to chill again soon. I was like, oh boy. Oh boy. Not a great way to end that one. Not good. No. Yeah. Che's a player. Well, it sounded like Che's a player. So we'll see. Miranda goes into the bathroom, doesn't see that Carrie's awake, starts to pee with the door open. Like, ew. No, that part, no. That part, yuck. Regardless if you think your friend is passed out on, I'm shutting the door.
You're not at your own home.
Anyway,
hello.
That was gross.
I know.
I don't know.
Unless you're a toddler, like
you're not alone. You're not alone. And the bathroom door is right there.
It's so funny. My 4-year-old goes to the bathroom like with the door open a lot, and my older son, who's almost 10, is like, he comes up. He's like, he always like covers his eyes. He's like, Devin, why don't you close the door? You're in the bathroom. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing in our house now. Because the bathroom, you know how my house is. And so he'll come out of his room and the bathroom's there and he'll like try to walk to the kitchen. He's like, Devin's on the potty. Like, Mom, have him close the door. And I'm like, we're working on it.
Well,
Devin's not weird about the door being closed. He's just like, listen, I gotta go. And I'm just opening the door and going.
He doesn't care.
And I'm coming out.
Donovan will leave the door open for number 1, but number 2 now he's like, no, I want privacy, even though he calls me.
I know, I get it. Believe me.
I think he just whatever.
They're lazy with number 2. We'll just say that. Can you check? Because I can't. I'm like, dude, you can't.
Oh yeah, Mom, can you wipe my butt? So finally, I'm like, you wipe your own butt. Then if there are issues, I will come in.
We call it a cool. Devin calls it a coolie.
Well, coolie. I grew up with.
So did Matt. So it's been.
I don't know why we don't call it. He calls it a coolie.
Mom, can you wipe my coolie? I'm like, dude, you're going to kindergarten next year. No, I can't. What? Well then I got to wash my hands.
My son is in first grade.
Hello. He knows that if I do it, he don't listen to me. My grammar. He doesn't have to wash his hands. Right? So this is what he's learned. I'm like, no. So I make him still wash his hands even if I help him.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, okay, I'll just do it myself.
And who knows? Who knows what was going on before that?
I don't know how we got on this. Oh, the door open. Okay. Back on track. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So
many people can relate to this though.
Yes, I think so. So then Miranda's like, "You're awake?" Oh, her voice is so high pitched and sounds like a different person. She's like, "You're awake? How was your nap?" And Carrie says, "Good, till I was woken up by you having sex with my boss in the kitchen, and I wet myself in my bed, and no one could help me to the bathroom," whatever she says. And Miranda comes out with that high pitched, I wrote high pitched voice. "So sorry, no idea you were awake. Oh, and I think Carrie said, well, I only took one, or I took a half of one. She took less than normal. She's like, I should have taken the whole bottle, if I knew I was going to be woken up by you." And again, Miranda, that's what I thought was weird. Miranda is not addressing the comments. She's just being like,
let me get you clean sheets.
Totally fake and weird. Yeah. It was so weird. Sorry. And then Carrie goes, "What are you doing?" And she's like, I'm going to change the sheets. And she's like, "No, what are you doing?" And still she's in her weird, robot acting mode, whatever. "Che brought you tequila, so we were doing shots and we were trying to be quiet and not wake you up." She's like, you did shots, shots in the afternoon. My apartment reeks of pot. My bed is soaked in pee. So then, this part 2 was so uncomfortable. Miranda starts to change the sheets and she's pulling Carrie with the sheets. And Carrie's like, "Ow, you're hurting me. You're hurting me." She says, you said you would be here for me. You weren't. I was alone. I had to pee in the Diet Peach Snapple bottle. And she's like, "Oh, I had too much to drink." Like, still is not addressing everything. "No more tequila for me." And then Carrie's like, "Maybe Charlotte was right. Maybe you do have a drinking problem." She's like, "I don't have a drinking problem. I just got carried away." And she's like, "You are married and you just had sex in my kitchen." I kept thinking, I was like, did she really have sex? Well, is that really having sex? It's a form of sex, I get. I don't know. I always think of sex as mutual, but maybe that's not true. I guess not.
Right.
Anyway, it's not. Anyway, okay. Think about if you consider yourself a virgin or not.
Oh, would that have taken her virginity?
Yeah, that's not would have. No, it wouldn't have. Okay. Where am I here? But,
we're getting
she's making
technical
a point
here.
Carrie's making a point. No one argued. Miranda didn't argue that point. I did like this part. And I think a lot of people could relate. She said, finally, so she says, "You just had sex in my kitchen. You're married, you had sex in my kitchen." And then she says, I'm unhappy. Miranda says it twice. "I'm trapped. I hate my marriage. I hate my life." And, Carrie's like, "Since when?" She's like, "Since forever." And Carrie's like, not true. And she said, "Well, it feels like it. Why didn't you say anything? What would I say? That I don't want to be this person anymore, that I don't want to be something more, that this isn't enough." And then Carrie's like, "That is exactly what you should say." And then she says, "Well, then I said it. Please, can I change the sheets now?" She says, "I think you should look into the drinking." She said, "Yes, I am drinking too much. We all were during the pandemic. And I guess I just kept going. But I don't have a problem. And I don't need a book from Charlotte. I know me. If I really thought I had a problem, I'd quit instantly." I'm like, okay. Because, that's what all the alcoholics say, or that's what everyone was. No, anyway, I just want to say though, like her line about that she hates her life. She wants to be something more. And then that this isn't enough, that, there are obviously a lot of people that feel that way. And she was trying to fight it. And I felt bad for her. I know she did something
very wrong,
not great, but
for her to finally
at least
come to terms with,
admit it,
and get it out there, because you can kind of see it unfolding during the series, series so far. So it's almost like, well, when is Miranda gonna, address head on like how unhappy she is with her life right now?
Yeah,
I mean, look at it. She was a lawyer, right? An attorney, very successful attorney. She felt trapped there. I mean, look at what's happening with her son and his girlfriend. I'm sorry. And her, and I love Steve a lot, but we're watching them, be roommates. You don't see any flirtatious like the way Carrie and Big were, or how Harry and Charlotte
are. Yeah. And Steve obviously really loves her, says to her, if that were you in the box, I don't know what I would have done and all this stuff. But, and, I know some people might argue like, well, remember, like she fought for him. He was dating someone else and she realized she was in love with him. And that did happen. And I'm not justifying it, but also why stay in something where you are completely miserable? Even if the person is a wonderful person, but why are you torturing yourself? Unless you can try to make it work and go to counseling, whatever, I don't know, but.
And who knows? I mean, again, we're just seeing from the surface. We don't know what else has occurred in the length of the time between then and now. So we have like a widow, somebody who has like an intact, loving family, right? And marriage. And then we have one that's falling apart. I mean, it makes sense for this series. Yeah. It can't all be and the one perfect, right? Not everybody can have the fairy tale, I suppose.
The movie tied everything together very nicely. And like I think we said maybe last episode that people, I mean, myself included in the beginning, like I loved the way the movie ended. I loved the way the series ended. And now a lot of the stuff that got tied together perfectly in a bow is completely unraveling. And it is upsetting, but how can you have a series? You can't have the series just be a happy ending. Every episode. So they have to.
Yeah, and if they're going to do a project like this, of course, they're going to attack some not popular topics head on, right? As far as like the infidelity and everything like that. So death in the first episode. I mean, I was not okay with that. I know. Peloton. Hello, I have one of those. It's like. Yeah. No, it was. I didn't like that at all. Like, there's things I didn't.
That crushed me. Completely crushed me.
But as we go along, it's, it's getting more comfy as the show got comfy for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you also want them to see them work out these problems and get to their happy place. Yeah. Okay. So, and then, because Miranda says, if I had a problem, if I thought I had a problem, I'd quit instantly. And then Carrie says, well, what about that other activity in the kitchen? And then she says, I don't know if I want to quit that. I've never felt like that in my life. Like that's a huge statement. Okay. Carrie is texting Samantha and telling her about the diaphragm story. And you could see, she's going to reply because the dots are coming up and everything on the text. And Samantha says, that's one of my finest hours. And then Carrie writes, hope that's okay. Samantha writes back, love that your vagina is getting airtime. And by the way, there is Sex in the City music playing in the background. I'm sure everybody noticed. Carrie texts, like she started to text and she stopped. I think she like changed her mind. Then she texts, I miss you.
And you see the bubbles come up.
It looks like Samantha's writing. And then they go right in time with the music, which I thought was a nice touch. So it's interesting that they're showing a relationship with Samantha. Yeah.
I wonder what that's leaving it open to what might happen in the future if they can negotiate her contract. Just saying.
If she can stand being around.
Yeah, Sarah, I guess. Or if Seema's just going to be and Anthony are just going to be in this,
an LTW.
LTW too.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, and Professor, I don't know.
They're introducing new characters.
We'll see.
I like them.
Yeah, yeah. So now we see Miranda in her kitchen. She looks like on her iPad, looking at a recipe for a Negroni. Yep. Negroni. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Negroni. It is gin vermouth rosso, Campari. It's 1 part gin, 1 part vermouth. I looked it up. 1 part Campari, and then garnished with an orange peel. So she is listening to the podcast as well, and she's laughing at Che's jokes about she just doesn't want people to be an a-hole. Sorry, they don't want people to be an a-hole. Che mentions a woman she was dating was transitioning from being a nice person to an a-hole. It was kind of funny, but of course Miranda's like, like
we know you're a big fan of Miranda.
Yes. So then as Miranda's looking at the recipe, she gets a notification from Amazon and wants to know if she is liking the book she ordered.
Yeah, was not Amazoned by
Yeah, it was not.
Charlotte.
She was not Amazoned. And then she says to herself out loud, great, what else did I drunk order? And she dumps out the bottles in the sink. I was impressed.
That's it. But like she said, she can quit. So I hope that that's the end of that.
She did say that. Yeah. So now we are at the physical therapy office.
Also, do you think that she's able to quit now that she's come to surface with who she really is? Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that too, that if she starts to realize and go after what she really wants.
She doesn't need the alcohol to suppress.
She doesn't need the alcohol. Yeah.
Just saying.
That's what I was thinking too. Mm-hmm. All right. So Charlotte, I took a snapshot of the outfits. Carrie is wearing these plaid pants and looks like saddle shoes ish. And actually it's funny because I think they're black and white, and Charlotte's shoes are also black and white. By the way, they're heels though. Carrie, I believe the plaid pants, it's actually, she has they're suspenders, not suspenders, but it's like there's straps attached to it. And they're roughly, reminds me of something in the 80s that she would probably wear in the show Square Pegs. That's what I was thinking. And her her blazer is black. She has the gold strips or stripes along the wrist. Reminds me of a captain's jacket from a boat. I don't know. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But I was starting to think, I was like, you know what? She wore a lot of funky stuff, I think, back first time around. And I did not always love her outfits.
Well, it's almost like
I think I liked other
going. Yes, and it's almost like going into your closet and putting in the most random things. Mm-hmm. You could never get away with that, but somehow Carrie did. Yeah, yeah.
Charlotte's just wearing That was Carrie's way about it. That's what she did.
We should have a Carrie day where we
party,
where we try to do our best.
Carrie party.
To dress like Carrie. Dress like Carrie, right? I could dress like Miranda, or not Miranda, Charlotte in a heartbeat. I would be able to pull that together because it's just more like.
See, I don't think I
have some stuff, but
probably something
Carrie,
more Charlotte.
I would have with that. I think I would mix some patterns in there and just.
So the party, whatever we're doing, it's just me and you.
It's just you and I. Maybe we go out to dinner one night, and we try.
That's a lot of pressure.
Right? But for fun.
Because I was thinking we were just in a house or Zooming.
Oh, okay. We could do that
whatever,
too. But okay, maybe we could try with a soft opening on the idea, and we could do
soft opening, and we'll drink. What is she drinking now? Well, she used to always drink Cosmos.
The thing, and I don't like Cosmos. They're so fruity.
I've had good ones.
Yeah, I could do a drier Cosmos version of something. Anyway,
I don't know.
We could do that.
We'll talk offline about that.
I think it would be fun.
Or maybe we'll invite an audience to the taping of this podcast. Maybe for the season finale or possibly series. Now, this is all just coming out of our brains right now.
We
just
could
to let
dress
you know.
like your favorite character or something.
Dress like your favorite character. Dress like you're on the show. How about that?
There you go. Like you're an extra. No?
No. Okay, like you're one of the characters because they have better clothes than the extras.
Because clearly we're going to get contracted into this show somehow, right?
Somehow. I'll be the random person who has a home upstate in Woodstock.
Right. There you go.
Not the random, the friend. Okay, we'll talk more about this. And we can invite an audience if you'd like. If you're interested, hey, email me at HomeBodiesOnly.
HomeBodiesOnly at
gmail.com.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah. I love that I thought of that. Just
you can watch us record and obviously listen. You can't contribute. Maybe that's probably a good thing. At all. We won't be able to hear you. But yeah, you could be an audience member.
And we could dress up for fun.
More on that.
Let's work on that idea. I like it.
All right, we'll work on that. We could see your outfits, I think. I'm pretty sure we can see it. Okay. All right. So Charlotte says Harry thinks the school is overreacting. And then but then she she asks if Carrie thinks they are underreacting. The Charlotte and Harry are underreacting. And Carrie says, I've never seen you underreact about anything. So then, Charlotte's questioning, is it just a 12-year-old caught up in a moment? When Charlotte was 12, she got a perm because everybody was getting a perm. Or is this her life? And Carrie says, I will need to see a photo of that perm. I was kind of thinking the same thing. Yeah.
I totally had a perm.
I think Charlotte told Harry to just listen and follow their lead. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte, starts to tear up. She says, I want to say Rose, not Rock. And Carrie says, that kid is amazing. And a rose by any other name would smell sweet. Aww. Yeah.
Very cute.
Hard. All right, Travis comes out, and that was fantastic. I texted Diana, and I said, I'm back, because I had to break up watching it. I had to do other things, and I was like, I'm back watching it, and there's Travis. Okay. Hot sweat emoji.
For real.
Is all I have to say.
Let me be that PT appointment. Let me be at that PT appointment, please. Right?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to start with a massage. I was like, what? Do I need PT?
We test drove cars today all day. Oh, offline, I'll tell you more. But we were in a car today that had massage chairs. And oh my god,
really?
Yes, it was in a.
How can you drive?
Right?
For the driver
Matt actually
too?
had, because he was driving them for him, because we're shopping for him anyway. And he had to turn his off when he was driving. And the whole time he's driving, I'm like closing my eyes, like, I'm good. I'm just over here getting the waterfall massage. And then they had the lower back you could change into. It was crazy. It was, oh my God.
I feel like,
and I was like,
I feel like that's risky for the driver to have that.
That's why he turned it off. Like it parked, he had it on, but when he started driving, he's like, I'm going to turn this off because I want to really, like, this is focus. But I was loving it.
I could tell Dave about that.
It was awesome.
Because we have a massage chair in our house that is as ugly as sin, but it feels good.
I really liked it. I was like, I could see us in this, but it didn't have enough room for, because we're going from.
Oh, who needs the kids in the car?
It had plenty of room for them, but then like the cargo room, because we're going from a pickup to an SUV for him. So we need something bigger. And I don't know, these chair massages are great. I loved it.
I have never heard of that one. Okay.
So anyway, I want to go for a massage. All right.
I mean, heated seats. I got the heated seats, but wow. Yeah. Cool.
It's like, must be a thing now. I don't know.
Yeah. That's awesome. No distraction or anything. Yeah. All right. So Carrie's in with Travis, and he asks what her physical goal is. And she says to get back into heels. And he's like laughing. And she's like, no, really, that's my goal. To get back into heels. Yeah. So then she's booking her next session. And she's booking it with Travis. And the woman's like, oh, no, he's not covered by insurance, which I thought was really funny. I'm like, what?
He's not in network?
That would not happen. If he works for that company, it's not like, of course, Travis is like the gold card platinum membership, but he doesn't take insurance. They don't take insurance for Travis. He's not covered.
That does happen in the mental health field. I must say, like, you could work in a group, but if you're like
really?
So let's say you have like a group of social workers, for example, like clinical level social workers, right?
But in the same group, one of them is not.
Yes. So this can happen because individually they can work with an insurance provider through a group, right? And accept certain insurances. So this sometimes does happen. But in the medical field or PT field, I don't know. I'm just saying it does happen in the clinical field sometimes. You work under the umbrella of a group, but like through like your licensure or whatever, like you're working with certain insurance companies.
I think if I was in that situation as a speech pathologist, I would not be covered by insurance either. I'm sure people would have to pay out of pocket for me. Of course. Just saying. Gold standard here. Gold.
Totally out of pocket.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I do joke with the kids. I'd say, we shouldn't waste time, because if you were paying me, this would be really expensive. That's all I'm saying. They have no clue what I'm talking about. Okay. So, she says she can have Emmett. And Emmett, of course.
Up. I'm sorry.
Emmett is
not Travis.
Not Travis.
That's all.
Emmett is not
Emmett
Travis.
would be a great
He's
PT.
Cute in his own way. But Emmett looks like he should be a PT. It's not very
PTs are usually a little bit
shape.
more.
Sorry, PTs are usually
they're like personal trainers almost. Yeah. They're usually like that.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah. So that was fantastic. And then Carrie's like, I will pay out of pocket for Travis. Yeah. 3 months
it's like driving
later,
a Mercedes and then be like, oh well, I'm just gonna get this Kia Sorento.
Like
I don't know,
like, oh no, that's not available.
Right?
Yeah, like that's not available for rent.
We got this guy back here. We got this pedal mobile, something like Flintstone mobile or something. The Mercedes was only I don't know. It was a glitch in the system. I don't know how we gave you that as a rental, but we got the Flintstone mobile. You just pedal with your feet.
Yeah. The heat doesn't work.
There are no massage
the air conditioner.
chairs.
There is
nothing.
none.
Just
there's
get a
no
good
massage
breeze going
chairs.
by
There's
your feet on the pavement.
Yeah, you have to crank the windows down yourself.
Yeah,
okay.
Like the 3-door Ford Tempo I had as my first car. It was a 4-door, but only 3 of the 4 doors worked. So if you were a passenger in my car in the back seat,
because the hatchback could be,
you had to use the other side. You had to go in and slide over. It was a whole thing.
I love that.
It had a sick cassette tape player.
I'm sure. Yeah.
85.
My last
85 Ford Tempo. That was my first car.
My last car had a cassette player.
Yeah, it did.
Still, because I drive the old. I get my cars for free, people, for free. So they're used.
And they're great.
They're older. I don't have to pay.
It's a free car.
It's fine. And they have heat.
That's all you need.
And air conditioning. So, all right. And my husband is a mechanic and works on those cars. So there you go. All right. 3 months later, she is in that dress. Sparkly. That beautiful Missoni. Is that how you say it? Missoni striped dress. Looked awesome on her. And I believe, not that I could find them, but I thought I did see the red bottom. I believe those were Louboutins. And they are sparkly gold. Gorgeous. That outfit, she looked so good. And her hair was back and then poofed out in the back. And that reminded me more of Sex and the City time. And
I'm back.
I did not click on, oh, wow, they're calling it a cardigan. What is it? Oh, it does button. Now I'm zooming in on it. It is called Missoni Long Cardigan, Dark Blue Viscose. You can buy it at a website called Orchard Mile. I did not even click on it. No, I'm sure Priscilla, I saw it out, and it was probably $5,000. I don't know. But I was loving that scene. And she says, and just like that, 3 months later, I was back in heels.
Ta-da.
I was thinking, so it's 3 months. So they they're going to skip 3 months for the next. So I wonder if we're going to go through all the seasons.
I don't know.
In the show where like in Sex and the City, I think they really only showed, it was always summer when they had it. And then when they did the last season and she went to Paris and everything, I do believe they went through all the seasons, and that was kind of done on purpose. There was a little break and then they started it back up again, this whole thing. They divided the last season in 2 parts.
I do remember that
because I moved back home in the middle of it, like before the second part started up. Anyway, so that's that. Wow, we went way over tonight.
We're way over. Sorry about
We're
that.
An hour and 18 minutes.
Gosh. Commentary.
I hope people actually,
I haven't watched 6, so I'll do that. I know you did.
I did watch 6.
Stay tuned.
So we're going to be caught up, I think, and be able to, and there's 10 episodes, FYI.
Don't forget, hit us up on Instagram or through the Gmail. HomeBodiesOnly.
Yeah, Instagram's got to be my personal.
Oh, that's right. We're still trying to figure that out.
I still can't access
Jackie and the Sticks.
The other one, Jackie and the Sticks, STIX. Yeah. All right.
Thanks for listening.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.